Hello, you two. I hope you've had a really good day. And now it's time to start our new class story. And the story is Guinea Pig Superstar, The Adventures of Harry Stevenson. And Harry Stevenson is a guinea pig, but he isn't your typical guinea pig. He looks like a guinea pig and he certainly eats like a guinea pig, but he doesn't always behave like a guinea pig and he gets into all sorts of trouble. So let's see what happens as we start Chapter 1. Good morning, Harry Stevenson. It was the kind of bright sunny morning when everything looked sparkly and clean. Harry Stevenson, a plump ginger guinea pig, was no exception. Harry was having a wash. First he sat up on his hind legs and licked his front paws. Then he used them to smooth down his floppy ears, brush over his ginger coat and comb out his long silky whiskers. Cleaning his face was easy enough, but reaching round to nibble at the fur on his back was getting increasingly tricky. I wonder why, puzzled Harry when he'd finished. Perhaps I'm still growing like Billy is, he thought, while busily tucking into his third juicy carrot of the day. Harry Stevenson wanted to look his best, because it was a very special day, one he'd been looking forward to all week. Harry still couldn't believe his luck. For as long as he could remember, he'd watched sadly from his cage on weekdays as his best friend, Billy Smith, packed his bag and headed off to a place called school. Harry had tried everything to stop his friend from leaving, racing around his cage, showing off his best popcorning acrobatics, or making rumbly purring noises that always made Billy smile. But nothing worked, not even his most ear-splitting weeks. It seemed that Billy had no choice in the matter. Harry longed to go with him, and now, finally, it seemed that he actually would. Yes, Harry Stevenson was going to school. Harry chewed on a strand of hay and thought about school. What will it be like, he wondered. He'd heard a lot of things from Billy, some bad, some good. Depending on how Billy was feeling, school either sounded like a boring, cramped hutch or a big outdoor run with lots of grass and dandelions. Harry was sure that it would be like the outdoor run today with extra dandelions. He couldn't wait to find out. There was going to be so much to see. Strange things called classrooms, teachers and uniforms, although apparently Harry wouldn't be wearing that. And what about maths? Harry chattered his teeth with disapproval. From the fuss Billy made about maths homework, it sounded very unpleasant, possibly even dangerous. Harry hoped he wouldn't come across any maths in school. Just as Harry chomped down on the last of the hay strand and was about to select another, Billy came into the room. "Hey, Harry," said Billy, gathering up his friend and walking into the kitchen. Harry snuggled into Billy's arms and sighed with happiness. It was breakfast time. Breakfast had always been exciting for Harry, but now it was extra special because he got to enjoy it with the Smiths rather than in his cage. Billy had been given a plastic pet carrier for his birthday, and this had become Harry's place at, or rather on, the kitchen table. There wasn't much room between the boxes of cereals, jam jars, newspapers, bills, piles of washed socks and school box, but the carrier just about fitted. Harry loved to sit there, ideally with a spinach leaf or two, and poke his nose out of the door so he could keep an eye on the family as they ate. As usual, he sniffed the air to check there was nothing on their plates he could weep for and hopefully share, but today all he could smell was toast and marmalade. Mr. Smith spotted Harry's eager face peeping from the carrier and winked. "Nothing for you here, greedy," he smiled. How rude, thought Harry, but then he remembered that this was a very special day and decided not to mind. "I can't believe Harry Stevenson's coming to school today," said Billy, slathering butter on his toast. "I can't either," thought Harry. Yippee! "Are you sure it's okay to take Harry to school, Billy?" asked Mrs. Smith, looking worried. "I've told you, Mum," said Billy. "Miss Gibby asked us to bring in our favourite thing for a special show and tell. Harry's definitely my favourite thing. Aren't you, Harry?" Said Mrs. Smith. I think she might have meant something less fluffy or squeaky. "It'll be fine, love," said Mr. Smith. "Harry's only small. He won't be any trouble at all." Harry crouched down in the hay and did his best impression of an innocent, trouble-free pet, while Mrs. Smith gave him a long, hard stare. I'm not convinced, she said. That guinea pig turns trouble into an art form. And speaking of art, isn't the painting competition being judged today? Billy nodded. Yes, Mum, it's this afternoon. Can you guess what I painted? Mrs. Smith smiled. Billy, I wonder. Was it small and furry by any chance, with a squeaky voice and a massive appetite? Billy looked surprised. Yes, Mum, I painted Harry. How did you know? Mrs. Smith knows everything, thought Harry admiringly. He wondered why she and Mr. Smith were laughing, though. That's the end of the first chapter. I wonder what Harry's going to get up to at school. And I also wonder whether you could make any connections between this story and one we've read recently. Another one about a little boy who takes his pet to school. See if you can jot down your ideas and email them to me. See you tomorrow, Year 2. Bye.